Stonehenge is a stone circle that was built thousands of years ago. If you're taking a photo of Stonehenge, you tend to aim for a landscape image. This is because Stonehenge is a collection of stones that are in the landscape. And if you want to fit all of it on one canvas, a landscape format will work best. It doesn't seem logical to take a photo of something that's landscape and fit it into a portrait composition. It would also seem odd to take a photograph of a tall object in landscape format. Some compositions seem more obvious than others. But sometimes you want to find the unexpected composition. There are thousands of images of Stonehenge, and I didn't want mine to be the same as all of those images. I began with the diamond guide, and I decided to place Stonehenge on the horizontal line. This meant starting with an odd, unbalanced composition, and then working from there to create something interesting. This is my final version. You'll notice that Stonehenge sits on the horizontal line, dividing the canvas into two images. This separates the sky and the earth. You might already know that Stonehenge is linked to the summer and winter solstice. The structure highlights the sun's position, and it seems to connect the earth to a broader understanding of the cosmos. I wanted those things to be a part of my painting. I'd chosen to give myself a challenging start, but I knew that it would push me to be more creative in how I approached the subject. The earth section could be a painting on its own. It's simplistic, but it could be seen as an abstract painting, a complete work. But within this larger composition, it helps to provide meaning. Within the earth there is a light. This could be seen in many ways. Is the light a reflection of the sun above? Or did it seem as though the earth swallowed the previous sun and it was still present in the earth? How was this event seen all those years ago? The painting hints at the questions without providing any answers. The light in the soil works for the meaning of the piece, but it also improves the composition. The light balances the entire composition. The light is placed where the lines intersect. It gives the eye something to focus on, and the abstract swirls add more interest. They surround the light, and this creates more impact. This section could also be a piece of artwork on its own. An image of hands reaching out to the sun. The sun is on that central line, and the hands are placed equally on both sides of the line, adding some symmetry to further enhance the composition. The hands come out of Stonehenge. Are they part of the stones or part of the earth? Again, this is part of the image that raises the questions associated with Stonehenge, but it doesn't answer them. The image appears to have a balanced composition, even without its second half. Although it is the combination of both images that leads to something more striking. Using the diamond guide at level 3 will create an interesting composition. It will work better in some situations more than others. Sometimes you want a more simplistic composition. It might be more in line with what you want to say with your image. Complexity isn't always the best option. You've got to think about what's right for the concept behind each piece of artwork. The artist needs to decide what composition tools to use in each image they create. Using the horizontal divide is very useful when you also have a divide in the concept of the piece. In the solstice image, the concept was divided into earth and sky. In Raphael's piece, the image was divided into two different biblical events. This kind of composition works well when you're dividing your concept into two parts. It can help to show a contrast between two concepts, such as heaven and hell. Most images using this type of composition are biblical, yet I felt it was important to include this composition in the diamond guide. When I created the diamond guide, I wanted it to be solely about composition, but the artworks that I've been exposed to have been heavily influenced by the Christian history of the West. A while ago, I studied religion in an online course from Harvard, and they talked about how religion is embedded into your surroundings, and your perspective is influenced by religion, even if you don't define yourself as belonging to any particular faith. As an artist, I can't escape the fact that Western art history is intertwined with the history of Christian religion. However, I really like the compositions that I created using the horizontal divide, and I wanted to know if this composition could be used in images that aren't religious. I had just visited Stonehenge, and after a visit to the famous landmark, I felt inspired to create a piece of artwork. Stonehenge is a sacred site for a lot of people, so I wasn't pushing the conceptual boundaries of the composition. Using this composition might hint at something sacred. Perhaps the viewer will have seen many biblical images, and as a result, it becomes a part of their visual language. And then they see the same composition, and it reminds them of something spiritual, but they don't know why. It might seem instinctual to them, but they have actually been guided to that feeling because this composition technique does have associations with images that have a sacred subject matter. This is my image depicting night and day. The concept dictates that the canvas should be separated into two sections or a series of images. I could have chosen to do one image representing night and another depicting the day. It is a theme that interests me, so I do have images where night and day are separate. Another option would have been a long landscape canvas where the night turns into day, but using the horizontal divide works better with this concept. The sun and the moon don't move in a straight line, and a landscape canvas might imply linear movement, but a portrait canvas that is divided at the center could imply rotation. The line that I have chosen as my horizontal line is curved to enhance the idea of rotation. This is an excellent composition because it is suited to the concept. I had an idea, and then I chose my composition based on the best way to depict its themes. The horizontal line is a useful experimental tool, but the concept of the work must be suited to this composition tool. The tool can be helpful if you're trying to tell a story. Having two sections in one piece of artwork could help you to show two different events in a story and show how both are connected or how one event led to the other. Using the horizontal line of the diamond guide will help you to create stunning images, although I would recommend that you use it only when the concept demands it.